All right, Tanuj, welcome to Ronversations on my channel because my name is Ron, so it's Ronversations. You know what I've
I
done.
love the name. Thank you so much for having me here, buddy.
Thank you so much for taking out time on a Friday, which is my holiday but not yours. So, Tanuj, I've been seeing a lot of you on OTT. I was very impressed when I watched your show Tandoor and I reviewed it on Times of India, and it was a good show. I gave it good rating, and then I was just like thinking कि ये लड़का अच्छा काम कर रहा है, and bam comes another show within like few weeks only, which is called Cartel on Alt Balaji. And
Yes.
again, your work is being praised. The show itself is getting mixed reviews, but your work is getting really praised. So tell me, how has OTT changed your life?
I think OTT has given me a second lease of life. When I started off back in 2013, things were very different. There was only film and television, and there was nothing bridging the gap. And when you set out to be a lead in films, life can either be very, very good or very, very bad, depending on the fate of your releases. Unfortunately for me, it was very bad because my first three films just didn't click at the box office. So there was a lot of uncertainty. I almost felt I was like unemployable, for the longest time. And I'm like, no matter what decisions I'm making or choices I'm taking, everything is just like falling apart. And just around the time I get a call for this project. Back then, it was not called Inside Edge; it was called Power Play. And I get a call, and Excel got in touch with me because they are the creative producers for the franchise, and they're like, "Hey, we'd like you to come in and audition for this particular role of this hotshot, bratty cricketer." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely. What film is it for?" They're like, "No, it's not for a film; it's for a web series." So I'm like, "What's the web series?" They're like, "It's something new we're trying out and stuff." And I was like, "Okay." So I asked a few people around, and they're like, "Hey, like, don't do it." And I mean, you have to be a film actor. This is like you're downgrading yourself and your own career trajectory. Mm-hmm. I'm like, look, Excel's involved, and I've always been a massive fan of what Farhan and Ritesh have been putting out right from Dil Chahta Hai, and I'm like, let me at least give it a shot. I mean, what could go wrong? I mean, let's give it a shot. If I, it's a big if. I need to nail the audition, and only then we can proceed. Yeah. And luckily, things worked out. And even when we were shooting Inside Edge, no one could have in their wildest dreams imagined the power of the web or like how successful that show would end up becoming, Right. And that really coincided with many of these other shows such as Mirzapur and Sacred Games and Breathe and then a little later Patal Lok, Camp 92. All these shows started coming together, and people really woke up and started taking notice of the OTT platforms and the content that they were putting.
Because there were no options. You had
to watch this. Yeah. And Ronak, it's been a really horrible time for us as a species this last 1.5 years. But having said that, if there at all is a silver lining, it is the fact that it's really given OTT platforms a playground to thrive, because largely cinemas have been shut, and most of the content that
we found a new way of working and living. We found so much comfort in connecting with each other remotely. Like, these interviews never would happen before. We would have to just go around and physically meet people, which is great, of course, but this also saves so much time and
right. Sorry. Yeah.
So my question is, how did you keep your morale up at that time? 3 back-to-back flops, like any other star or any other actor would have just want to exit and say, okay, I'll change my life.
Of course. I mean, like now in hindsight, it all seems a lot easier and rosier. But when you're on the eye of the storm and everything is unraveling before your eyes in real time, and there's no telling or there's no guarantee when things will get better. So you do question yourself, your abilities, your choices, your choice of career, a lot of things. So I did go through that. I never went into depression, thankfully. But there were times when I was extremely low, and it really screws with your state of mind and your state of self-worth, because unfortunately at that point most of my friends were not from the fraternity, so they were from they had regular 9 to 5 jobs, or like they're businessmen and stuff like that. So they had consistent work, and Sundays they would spend with their family, Mondays would be back at office, and Friday they'd get off work. And as an actor, no, I find it extremely boring. Yeah. I do. I mean, I appreciate and respect the fact that people have that sort of life, but I don't think it's for me. For me, I mean, it could be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I mean, there's so many Mondays where I'm just chilling at home and making the most of doing absolutely nothing. And there are times when I'm really, like working my ass off on a Sunday. It just happened this last Sunday. I was shooting for something. We shot from 6 p.m. all the way till 8 a.m. That's a 14-hour shift plus travel time in Bombay, which is a lot. So it's okay.
Even in Corona, it's bad. Even during Corona, there is traffic. Like now, I know we're getting out.
You'll be surprised. Like currently, at least in Mumbai, you feel like there is no COVID because things are pretty much back to normal. Of course, everyone's wearing a mask, but apart from that, the streets are crowded with people, with cars. There's a lot of traffic.
Same old story, yeah.
Same old story, yeah.
Acha, listen, your movie, your show is called Cartel.
Yeah.
But do you think there is a cartel in Bollywood also? Like people talk about camps and all. You are an insider. You're a star son.
Right. I wouldn't go as far as to saying that there's a cartel in Bollywood.
I'm just using reference to context.
But having said that, I do feel that there's certain cliques, certain clans that operate within Bollywood. Maybe because of a comfort level that they share with each other, or they like each other's vibe, or I don't know, they call them camps or whatever like that. But of course, I mean, those do exist. I mean, tomorrow, if I'm in a position of power, I might also want to collaborate with my friends or people that I get along with, both on a personal level as well as creatively.
Yeah.
I personally have not. I've heard a lot. I personally have not witnessed anything in particular of these clans and stuff and all. But I mean,
not
like
part of any such powerful.
I'm not part of anything. No.
Actually, but when you were growing up, you studied in Mumbai, right?
Yeah. I've been born and raised in Bombay. Yeah.
Okay, so unlike most of the people we see on Coffee with Karan, who when they come, they talk about going to the same birthday party, schools, and all those things. Have you also had a very filmy childhood?
No, not at all. In fact, when mom got married, she took a really long sabbatical from films, and she only made her comeback when I was 16 years old. So I had a very normal upbringing, normal middle class upbringing. They consciously kept me away from the filmy circles. They didn't want me to kind of, fly away from the nest at a young age. They wanted me to be old enough to understand everything about society, of how people are and stuff, and then make my own choices. So it was never like she's like, oh, you have to be in the circle or you don't have to be in the circle. But she did kind of consciously keep me away from the filmy crowd. And that time I lived in the hub of all the filmy crowd. I used to live back in Juhu back then. So yeah.
So you didn't have filmy friends, at least, like sons and daughters of actors.
Of course. I mean, so many of us have studied in the same school. Like Sonakshi is my junior by a year, Arjun and Sonam are my senior by a year. There are a whole bunch of them, from that batch.
Which school, sorry?
But, huh?
This is which school, sorry? Jamna Bhai. Which
this is Arya Vidya Mandir, Juhu, AVM.
Okay. Yeah, but your father is also connected to films in some way, right?
No. My father's into construction, business, real estate, and restaurants. He has nothing to do with
Never produced a film? Oh, great. Okay, but your mom's been a big star back in the 70s and 80s, and we've seen her do movies with such big stars like Amitabh Bachchan and many of them, all the way to Anil Kapoor and all. Rati Agnihotri. So she's spent a lot of time doing big movies. Does she give you advice?
Absolutely. I mean, it would be very stupid on my part to not seek her advice. I mean, considering I've got this stalwart sitting at home who's had over 35 years of experience across different industries. It could be Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, so many industries. She's seen and worked with so many people. But having said that, she always lets me make my own decisions because she also understands the nature of the business, and things have changed considerably between then and now. But there are times when I'm a bit stuck as to should I do this project? How do I tell this person no without offending them? The day before I'm performing a tough scene, and if I'm a little stuck, I'll go, I'll sit with her, we'll read the scene together.
Nice.
So she does help me in that regard. Yeah. But whatever choices I make eventually have been mine and mine alone. Yeah.
But did she ever pick up the phone on producers she knows and people she knows?
No, she's never done that. And I don't expect her to do that because she believes that just like she was a self-made woman, she would like her son to be a self-made man. And she's always told me that your success and your failures has to be yours and yours alone. Of course, there's so many people that aid you on this journey during your career and during your life. But if you think you're going to get things in served to you on a silver platter, it's not going to happen. So as I said, I've had a very middle class upbringing. Yeah.
I would love to interview her someday if she is willing on my
Yeah,
channel.
we'll make that happen. Yes,
Yeah, please. And are you a mama's boy?
absolutely, absolutely. So I'm a single child, and
Oh,
that probably makes me even more of a mama's boy. And I love it when she feeds me and pampers me and takes me out shopping and gives me a nice head massage, and I love all of that. So I'm an absolute mama's boy. Yeah.
I miss a lot of it while I'm here. So, yeah, in Cartel, you play a gangster, right? Your character name is
Yes.
Arjun Mhatre, Major Bhau. Major Bhau is called, right?
Yeah.
And so, did you take references from all these classic characters that we have on in Bollywood, which have made their mark?
So, I think what separates my character from the others on the show is like most of them are like your more conventional gangsters. Mine is a man who, out of compulsion and not out of choice, has joined this gang. He's an ex-army man. He came back only because he realized that he had to kind of, right this ship that was kind of wavering and stuff, with all the family politics and all the gangster stuff that goes on, and the power struggles that come with it. So he's not there by
Right.
he's not interested in the throne. He's not interested in like taking charge, but he knows that he must. For him, it's more of a responsibility than an ego boost or a thrill. So I didn't feel the need to research any of the any of our classics like the Satya Company, Vastav, Sarkar, any of that, because that was not the vibe. If at all, you could say I did seek a bit of inspiration from the way Al Pacino played it during the Godfather films, because there's this, even there he's got a military background and he comes there,
Right. Yeah.
and such Sonny Corleone, who's going to be next in line for the throne, and it doesn't work out that way, and his father chooses him instead. And I just feel it's at times of extreme struggle, or when you're going through something really like it's like trial by fire, that you can tell the true what a person is truly made of and what a person is all about. It is literally like, yeah, trial by fire. So I think that's what Arjun Mhatre, aka Major Bhau, had to go through. So yeah, very interesting character. I had a lot of fun playing this.
It looks like from the promo, and your character kind of comes into its own, throughout the journey of the show. But there are a lot of other young actors. There's Ritvik, and there are so many actors in this web series. You kind of have to keep pace with so many characters coming and going on your screen. So was it like competitive? Especially, does it get competitive when you have similar?
Okay, so I'll be honest.
actors?
having worked on other shows which have ensemble star cast, it can get competitive sometimes when there are a lot of people involved. But I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't know if it's a cliched answer or what, but I genuinely, for me, the length of the role does not matter as much as how important is that character to the larger scheme of things. I believe a character is worth taking up. I could have 5 scenes on a show or in a film, but if he's being referenced and he's been spoken about even when he's not on camera, that means he's moving the trajectory of the screenplay or the narrative forward. So I find that interesting. And of course, when you're doing an ensemble show, it's a bit uneven because there's not one lead or 2 leads. This is a story about 3 brothers. If you look at it on a very, very simple,
And I think that
basic
whole
level.
idea of leads and all, focus is changing, no?
Yeah, exactly. So there'll be certain episodes where you might be like, okay, so in this episode, Ritvik seems like the lead. In this episode, Jitu seems like the lead. On this episode, Tanuj seems like the lead. Or, okay, this episode, Supriya Ji feels like the lead. It's when you watch the entire thing unravel. That's the thing about long format storytelling. And luckily on this set, touch wood, we're very blessed and grateful that all of us, all the actors, actresses got along very well. And we had a lot of faith in our director. And that is the most important thing. When you trust the people behind the camera, you don't even need to go and check playback. I literally don't check playback unless there's something specific that needs to be brought to my attention, or like I need to correct something but I can't understand, and they'll be like, hey, just come and look, so you know what you're doing
one
wrong.
of those actors who says, sir, ek safety take or le lete, ek take or.
Okay, so the thing is, if I'm doing a scene and even if they okay a take, but in my heart or my instinct tells me that I think there's still some stuff left in the basement, I could bring something more, then I might request, but that does not happen very often.
Okay, you go with the director. And did you
I mean,
guys,
you usually know when you've got the right take, yeah.
did you guys shoot during Corona times? I mean, it's a difficult show to make I mean, it's a show where you require so many people on the screen itself. The social distancing to hoga hi nahi. So how challenging was it to shoot during that time?
So, Ronak, the show's been difficult to make even before COVID because just of the sheer scale of it, the sheer number of actors on it, the locations. It's been tough from the word go. It's a show that's largely shot on location. It's not shot like on sets and
Green
stuff and
screen.
all. So even though it's a Mumbai-based show, but like, dude, Bombay is such a big city, and travel was like the places I've gone to for the show. I didn't know they existed in my
Like?
34 years of living in this city.
Like,
It's crazy. And then obviously when COVID hit and we had to shut down production for almost 6 months because we weren't allowed to shoot, right? And then we got back on track, and everyone is a little rusty and a little scared to start off with. We have a star cast ranging from the age of 7 to the age of 70, and both are very vulnerable categories. And let's face it, as much as we try and be careful on set, and we try and observe all COVID norms, but we're human. At some point, someone's going to put their guard down. We weren't living in a bubble. At the end of the day, everyone's going back to their respective homes. So there was a lot of stress on set, and I'm so grateful that we did not have a single positive case reported on that set. And of course, there would be random testing very often. And Balaji was extremely, extremely on the ball when it came to that. They wanted to ensure maximum safety. We literally had guys on set standing with like banners in their hands, say, please mask up, please sanitize, please maintain distance. Like, it's crazy. But when the director says action, you got to forget all of that and you got to go into that other world.
But the show, what I've seen of whatever, I've not been able to finish the entire show, but whatever I've seen, there's a lot of outskirts of Mumbai ka shots, a lot of green, vast expanses, and also which were the places you discovered, like people watching in Dubai would love to know.
Oh man, so many Ronak. There was Manor, there was Palghar, there was Dahisar, there was
Dahisar is very close to Mumbai.
Dahisar, I have not been to Dahisar. Yeah, Dahisar
you
East
spoke like a true blue Jew kid, huh?
Bro, no. So I live at Worli now, which is like in town. Like okay. So if I turn my camera, if I turn my camera around, this is my view. Okay.
Wow, this is Worli Naka.
Yeah, exactly. So I live in the heart of like South Bombay. Yeah. So for me, Dahisar, I'm like, oh God, यानी कि 3 दिन पहले निकलना होगा. पता नहीं वहाँ पर cell phone का network होगा भी कहीं. So I'm a little sober in that regard.
Yeah.
But Palghar and Manor in particular were very tricky locations, and also because we were shooting there at night. Yeah. So you're literally like going there in the evening, and the traffic's like an absolute pain to deal with.
Yeah. Crossing the Czech Naga is a pain. I know.
Yeah.
I've lived my life in Mumbai. Like it's only been 4 years here, and I've lived in Mumbai, South Bombay. I grew up there, and then we shifted to the suburbs. So I've seen both the sides. But it's crazy, man. Like when you talk about it, everything just flashes in front of my eyes. Okay, coming back to the show and OTT per se, OTT is very real. There is gali galore, there are intimate scenes. There's there's no holds barred. So is it like it's something that comes with the territory? So tell me if you're really comfortable or you really have to push yourself hard. Don't give me textbook answers. Give me what you really feel.
I don't have to push myself, frankly, because my day-to-day life and the way I speak is full of galis, and I make no bones about it. Having said that, I feel sometimes people just zabardasti for the heck of it, try and put more galis. Like if you notice, I mean, if you watch Cartel, I think my character either does not abuse or maybe barely abuses, because he didn't need to. But if you look at my character on Inside Edge, he really needed to abuse because that's his personality and his persona. So it's horses for courses. It's that sort of thing. I feel you should it should not be the focal point. Like show sex scenes and show violence and show bad language and certain visuals. If it's required, if the script demands it, if it's authentic to the story you're telling, then by all means do it. Otherwise, please don't do it.
But see, there are like intimate scenes for like if you feel that this is just being put for voyeuristic pleasure, do you protest ever?
I don't protest. I before signing the project only, I read the entire script, right? So if there are certain scenes which according to me are red flag scenes, I sit down and discuss, and I'm like, how important is this to the script? I'll sit down with the creators, with the showrunners, with the director, with the platform, and we discuss. And it's always been a very healthy conversation. And if what they're saying makes sense to me, and frankly, it has always made sense to me. Like I don't think any of the making out or kissing or whatever love making scenes I've done have been like cringe worthy. Then I'm okay with it, you know. But they are also sometimes so.
Would you go very far, like the 365 days on Netflix? Would you go that far?
I haven't. So I've heard a lot about that show, but I haven't watched it myself. Yeah, I don't know. For some strange reason, a lot of girls like that show
because of the guy.
So that guy actually. So when I was in Dubai last year, I was staying at the Palazzo Versace Hotel, and he was there at the same time. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, Tanuj is the 365 days guy." And I'm like, "Who the hell is that? I don't give a shit."
They confused you with him.
No, they just told me that he was staying at the same hotel. There were a bunch of high-profile people at that hotel when I was there. 50 Cent was also there.
Okay, yeah. That's a hotel sees a lot of action. Like recently, I've gone there for a press conference also. So, abhi to nahi aa raha hai koi because of COVID and you know things are still for tourists and all. But yeah, we had a lot of action in Dubai all the time when it comes to Bollywood.
Right.
Okay, so you're doing so much work. What about your love life? We know already from my research, I found out that you were not dating Jennifer Winget and you were with Akshara Hassan. So what is happening now? Do you get time? And you only date actresses or what?
I mean, to be honest, you end up spending most of your time and your life around actors and actresses. So you're bound to probably gravitate and be attracted to people from the same fraternity. But having said that, that's not the case. It's not like I only date actresses and all. It's just that if I'm dating an actor, that probably gets spoken about a whole lot more because they are also popular and people know them very well. Jen and me have been good friends. In fact, we're working together now on the sequel to Code M. And people are free to write whatever and think whatever they want to. It makes no difference. We go along leading our lives. Akshara and me, yes, we did date. We actually dated for a long time. We dated for about 4.5 years. But that was a long time back.
Yeah. Right now you are what? Not currently seeing anyone.
Right now I'm busy with work.
What a cliche. Chalo, theek hai, but how much does bad press affect you? Like, you know, I mean, it's good to be in the news, but especially on social media, there are a lot of trolls and everything. So does it really affect you?
It used to affect me a lot more. Like it used to really affect me. Even something like a bad, nasty review would really affect me. Now,
good reviews also don't affect you.
It irritates me from time to time. No, more than a bad article. Like these trollers, sometimes I feel like, you know, like it's a bit irritating. So that does kind of annoy me, but not to the degree that I think I've gotten a lot more conditioned to it. I just started to get very upset.
Do you reply to them?
No, I used to.
You don't reply trolls, okay?
No.
Now what I'm saying is you don't read good reviews also. That's why you haven't read my review of Tandoori.
I'm so sorry about that. No, but I'm gonna go and find your review right now.
And just Google it. First thing you will get it. And now, you know, I thought it's instead of making this a very boring interview of asking you, I thought we'll play something. So I came up with this Raparap rapid fire. I know it's a very Karan Johar thing, but this is Raparap because we're talking about cartel and gangsters and
sure.
Okay. So are you ready?
Absolutely.
You have to answer in one word, huh? And fast. Okay. So one Rati Agnihotri film that you can watch anytime.
Coolie.
One Rati Agnihotri film that you cannot watch. It's unbearable.
Yade.
One khabar that you wish was true about you. One khabar.
That I just signed a 3-film contract with Dharma.
Okay, I'm sure that might happen. Well, one thing you never leave your house without.
My cell phone.
Okay. And one thing that you do before sleeping, always. Don't just.
I'm sorry, I.
One thing you always do before sleeping.
Take off my t-shirt and go to sleep. I can't sleep with my t-shirt on.
The social media app you're addicted
to? Definitely Instagram, yeah.
Okay. You're big on Instagram, huh?
I'm fairly big, yeah. And I don't know if it's a social media app, but I'm addicted to online shopping. So I love like Amazon and like the Zara app and like all that. Yeah, it's like sitting in my vanity van all day between shots and like shopping away.
Keep shopping. Okay. You're not on Tinder or anything.
No. I'm
like
not on Tinder.
The disguised profile or something.
No.
And on Instagram, do you reply to DMs?
Yeah, I actually do. I make it a point every day to spend at least 10 to 15 minutes replying to all my fans. It's an age-old thing. I've been doing it maybe now for the last 4 years, and it just makes them very happy. And yeah, at the end of the day, buddy, I feel whatever we are is only because of them, and they feel very happy. In fact, what I do is to surprise them. Sometimes I send them a voice note back because otherwise they think like your team is replying on your behalf, right?
Yeah.
So I'll acknowledge it with a voice.
You have a team though.
They're very happy. Yeah.
Or you handle it on your own.
Yeah. No one handles my social media. I handle it personally. Yeah. So it's all me. Yeah.
And do you ever repost if they post something about you? Do you repost it? Like a
Absolutely. Of course I do.
Okay.
Of course I do.
Currently, the show that you are binge watching.
Currently, what am I binge watching? Dude, I've not seen anything. I've not been watching any show, but I have been watching a lot of movies. I saw this movie called Coda the other day, very nice. And then this other film with Nicolas Cage called Pig, very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and I saw the Suicide Squad, yes, and Fast Nine. Yeah, I've been watching
That
movies. Yeah.
I do Hollywood reviews also, so I just sent out my review has come today in Times of India. If you pick up Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. I loved it. I don't know, people are
giving it.
मुझे तो बहुत अच्छी लगी because I like thrillers and murder mysteries and
fair enough.
More in
it was definitely different from what they did in the first two. I thought it okay.
Okay. One Bollywood actress you want to say love you, Sonyu.
Alia Bhatt.
One. Okay, Surbhi is calling. I don't know why. 1 second, I'll check. 1 second. Surbhi is messaging me. I think she has something important. Yeah. Okay. He's saying wrap up. Okay, we are almost done.
Sure.
How old is your most Purani jeans?
From college, 18 years old. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now your third film is One Night Stand, so I can't ask you anything about that. So we'll quickly move on to the next. Fatafat bhai ka bol bachchan. I'll say an English word. You have to say what bhai would say to that. You know what a bhai would say. Like for example, for slap, what would you call it?
First
slap.
पहले तमांचा मारने का समझा कान के नीचे.
It's rapda. The second is fight. What's the bhai word for fight?
किसको ठोकना है? No, that's a word.
Fight could be like
किसका game बजाना है?
A game बजाना, yeah. Or rada. Or what about awesome? Awesome.
Rapchik, एक number, Ravas.
Boyfriend? For boyfriend, what do you call?
Dev party. क्या बोलेगा? Chikna.
Yeah, that also goes. And mad is what? Mad in Bhai language?
Sanki, Satkela, Yeda.
Got it. And the last one is thrashing. Beating someone. Beating someone.
गेम बजाने का क्या ठोकने का गेम बजाने का क्या बोलेंगे और
खर्चा पानी
खर्चा पानी हाँ
You did it really well actually. You got almost all of them right. Okay, so that kind of the Zoom meeting also ending, and that kind of ends our interview also.
Right.
But just before you go, tell us what you're working on next. What are we seeing from you?
Right. So my next project and all probably will be Inside Edge Season 3, which will be on Amazon Prime. Really looking forward to that. Then I've got Codem Season 2, which will again be on All Balaji. That's with me and Jennifer Wingate. You've got Illegal Season 2 with Neha Sharma, Akshay Oberoi, Piyush Mishra, Parul Gulati, Shiva Chadda. Very interesting star cast. So I've joined the cast of that. I recently completed a film called Johnny Jumper, which is got me, opposite Vijay Raz, Brijinder Kalra. Okay. Sorry, I think they're calling. Brijinder Kalra, Vijay Raz, myself, Zakir Hussain, Zarina Wahab. So that's something I'm kicked about. And I'm starting a show soon called Murshid. It's got me and Kekiman. So these are the ones I'm currently working on, and there are a few others which I have not yet announced. So we'll talk about them next time.
Your plate is full completely.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So it was really cool talking to you. When you meet Jennifer, just remind her I have worked with her in Shakalaka Boom Boom. I had done a few episodes as a child artist.
Oh,
You
really?
know, she was very
Okay,
new at
okay.
that time, and there was Romit Raj and me and her and all. And
I know Romit Raj also.
yeah. So we're still in touch, but Jennifer, obviously now she's gone.
So Romit and me worked together on Poison, a Z5 show. So I actually know him very well. Very sweet guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you tell him Ronak, because you used to take an auto from Jogeshwari station to the set, which used to
Right.
inside Mahakali caves or somewhere.
No, done. For sure.
So yeah, I don't know if they'll remember. I mean, Jennifer won't remember, but yeah. But I'm just telling you.
Cool.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thanks, man. I'll run because these guys are messaging me. Yeah.
Okay. Chalo, bye. All the best.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks. Bye.